Well, what is up, gamers? It has been a long time. We've all been waiting. It's finally here. And I'm not just talking about the screamfortress update. I'm talking about new unusuals. It's been 2 years, maybe a little over 2 years that we've been waiting for these. They finally came out, and a lot of people have been asking me to do a review, to do a critique, and talk about what I like, what I don't like. Do I think they'll be popular? How high tier? Will they be, easy to trade? All that good stuff. So instead of just what most people do, say, I like this, or this is cool, or that's not cool, I'll do a little bit of that, but I'm going to try to talk more about the effects as far as from a trading perspective, because, I don't hate on any effects. I'm still a new trader at heart. I still have that all unusuals are cool, and there's something special and unique to TF2, so even the lowest tier, ugliest effect to me is really, really cool and special, but someone who's been trading for many, many years, they're not all equal, right? I only want to touch things that are popular, that I can make a profit on, so I'm going to be kind of taking more of that perspective in this video. So we're going to talk about a lot of things. I did a recording earlier, and it was like over 20 minutes, so I'm going to redo the recording, talk as fast as I can, try to breeze through these really quick, not go into as much depth because, I got way too long. So anyways, let's jump right into this with a critique of the new unusuals from Screamfortress 10. So first up, we have some unusual taunts. We have the Ominous Night and Spooky Night, which are pretty cool. The fact that we have some smoke that's kind of not normal. I really like the deep colors that we have in this update. There's a lot of really cool, unique colors that we don't see very often. So I like this deep green. Obviously, it's going to go great when you pair it with like Harvest Moon and some other stuff. I like the smoky, right, that could go with Cloudy Moon. So as far as wearing these with other combos, that's pretty cool right off the bat. However, on their own, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit jaded because I've seen so many effects and things that were really hyped and they end up becoming kind of duds over time, but I'm not a fan of the moon. I don't know about you guys. Don't get me wrong. I think it's cool that you can do 4 moon effects now. So the first person to stack 4 moons, it's going to look crazy, and send me a video or a screenshot or whatever. You can do that now. That's the first thing I thought of, but I don't know. To me, it's weird. You have this floating 2D object over your head, and if you're moving, it looks weird, and I don't know, it just feels kind of cheap and last minute. Like, they had this smoke effect, which is pretty cool, that moves with you, and they're like, it's missing something, just throw in another moon. It's like, how many moons and suns and cloud effects do we need? So I think it's going to be mid to low tier. It depends on how many are unboxed, of course, but it looks cool. I don't know, I don't love it that much, but it's a nice new effect. Moving on, we have Roaring Rockets, and my apologies, the Roaring Rockets are super bugged for some reason, so I kind of had to keep spamming it, and apparently Valve keeps trying to fix it and patch it and update it, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's working by the time this video comes out. But one thing I do really like about this effect is that it's creative and it's unique. So instead of like some of the other effects where it's just flames or it's just smoke or something, these are dragons, right? So it's this nice bright orange and these firework effects exploding. So depending on what Valve does with this effect, and maybe they change it to make it more active or more explosive or whatever they do, I think it could be one of the more higher tier ones because it's so unique. There's no other, effect with this update that looks that similar. I mean, you have Screaming Tiger and stuff, which is kind of similar, but, this is going to be a great theme for like a Japanese loadout, or anything like that, like a ninja set, something like around that. But, I like that the fact that it's continuous and it's, it's pretty unique. Now we move on to the bubbles, and the names of these are kind of funny. The names for this update on the effects were really hit or miss. Some of them I thought were dead on, were super cool, but a lot of the names of the effects were kind of like, what? That's it? That's all you could come up with? Anyways, what I like about these effects is they're very bright and very colorful. I hope in game they look the same, if not better than this. When I was running the item test, unfortunately the effects are like a little bit underground, so you can't see the actual base of them, but they're even brighter, there's even more colors. But one thing I don't like is that a lot of the effects we got are just old effects with like a different color, or like 2 old effects, and they kind of mix them together to make them a little bit different. So this is literally just the bubbling effect with a different color smoke. That's all these are. So I wish they would have done something a little more, creative, like make them move in a different pattern or swirl or different sizes, or they pop in the, do something different than just your regular bubbling effect. And then one's pink, one's orange, and one's like lime. So don't get me wrong, I like that they went with these bright, vivid colors, but I don't know, I wish they'd put a little more effort into these instead of giving us one effect with 3 different colors of it, 3 different variables. So depending on how many are unboxed, probably going to be around mid to low tier as well. Unfortunately, none of these really pop out as like, amazing. They all look pretty good just in general, but the more color variations you get, usually the popularity goes down and the price goes down because there's too many competitors. The effect is not that special anymore because there's 3 different versions of it. Now we go on to, these ones are definitely more unique. They stand out on their own, which I like. Anytime there's an effect that's like very different, you know, kind of like Nebula. Nebula jumped out right away as it had that awe factor of, wow, that looks amazing. It's totally different than anything else. The colors are different. The shapes are different. You know, it's a universe, a sparkle. Like, it was so different and unique. Nebula, like, jumped ahead as far as popularity. It's like a God tier hat instantly, or God tier effect. The only thing that's keeping Nebula from being insanely expensive is that luckily there's a lot of them that were in box, so you can get Nebula for a lot of hats. It's not that expensive, but I'm bringing it up because it's a very unique effect, and the fact that it's, you know, it stands out. There's nothing else. There's not 4 different Nebulas of different colors. Then it wouldn't be that special. There's one effect, and it's very different for a lot of different reasons. So for these, I like the fact that these are each unique. I do like the colors as well, you know, kind of going with the Halloween theme with the deep purples and the greens and stuff. Clairvoyance, unfortunately, I think what's working against it is that it's definitely cool that you have this bright, you know, eyeball over your head, and it's going to look great with sunbeams or, you know, time warp or these other effects to kind of merge with it. But I think the spoons, if you look closely, the spoons actually hurt it because it's basically saying this is a meme effect. This is a joke. This is, you know, there's a punchline that goes with it. And I get what it comes from. I get the joke. I get what it's referencing, which is funny. It's cool. I like it. But unfortunately, in the trading community, that's usually kind of a bad thing. You know, if Valve's trying to be funny or goofy, it's like, okay, well, it's not going to be God tier anymore because it's kind of, they're trying to be silly, so we'll treat it that way. But who knows? I mean, this one I've already seen in game. It looks pretty good. It seems to be popular. I don't really like the flat eye effect. To me, it looks kind of weird. I wish it did something different than just this little Photoshop picture of an eye somebody drew. But it looks pretty cool in general. Same thing with the Omniscient Orb. I like the creativity with this. It's very unique that you have this 2D image of these different maps that kind of rotate through. One thing I thought that would be amazing, I don't think they would ever do this, but if you think about the conscientious objector, you can put different images on there, right? So if for some reason somehow you could put your own images on there, that would be amazing. That would make this very high tier, or at least very popular, depending on how many are unboxed again. But unfortunately, I don't really, for some reason, this effect doesn't really show off the hat. It's kind of just like this random effect that, you know, this is something that you think you would see in a map in a certain room or a level, but just above your head, it seems kind of weird. Like, it doesn't really show off the character or the hat. It's just floating hands and an orb. So it's cool. You know, it's unique. I like it a lot as far as that aspect. But as far as for trading, unless there's very few of them unboxed and it becomes a collector's item, I just don't see it being that high tier. Now we go into the ones that, to me at least, are probably, I don't know, love them, hate them. They're kind of a disappointment to me because the names, first of all. So we got White Lightning, the Vicious Circle, and Ring of Fire. So White Lightning, if you just, the first time I read it, I didn't see the effect yet. I thought, this is going to be cool. What is this? I gotta see it. I'm thinking of like, you know, sparks flying everywhere, or electricity, or bolts, or something like that. And then I see it, I'm like, what? That's white. There's nothing White Lightning about this besides the color is like whitish yellow. Like, that's it. I don't like the 2D effects that kind of float around. So, anyways, I'm not going to rant too long about these, but same thing. I think if they focus on making this effect more unique, get rid of the cheap-looking, like, 2D flat images, because if you look at all these, it's the same exact effect again, 3 different color versions, and they just change the pictures of the 2D items. So nothing about this really screams, you know, White Lightning or Vicious Circle, Ring of Fire. Like, the fire is like a little flat image that kind of pops up, and that's like, really? Ring of Fire? That's the best you got? Like, there's so many other better things we could have had. Or at least don't give it that name. So, however, if you could wear these triple effect, that would obviously make them all very popular right away. Who knows? If there's very few of these unboxed, people are going to buy them because they're going to want to stack. So, I already think, you know, White Lightning with white energy is going to look amazing. You know, Vicious Circle with purple energy or Arcana, and, you know, Burning Flames with the Ring of Fire. So, these effects worn with other things are going to look really, really nice. But them on their own, depending on how many exist, I don't think they're going to be that high tier. But combining them with other effects, I think these are going to be really, really nice. Now we're moving on to the moons, which a lot of people thought right away, these are the new high tiers, this is the new Nebula, this is the new that, this is the new God tier. I don't think so, and I'll explain why. So, as cool as these look, I love the sparkles, I love the lights, I kind of love the feel of them. Same thing, we got one effect with 3 different color versions, which is cool because, you know, I guess you get to pick your favorite color, but from a trading perspective, it just hurts your options because you might get a really cool effect, and then like, oh, I don't like that color, I like the purple color. It's like, well, you just have more people and more effects to, you know, to bid against, and people can lowball you, and there's just more of them in general unboxed. So instead of being, you know, there's one effect. If there's one of this effect, any of these, doesn't even matter which one, it would probably be pretty high tier because it's beautiful on its own, and there's only one, so you kind of got to fight to get it. So unfortunately, I mean, it's hard to see which one's going to be the highest tier. I do like the fact that Dark Doorway and Eldritch are kind of different colors. Galactic, some people think looks kind of like Nebula, so you know, once again, if you can combine them together, they're going to look really, really nice. You know, dark moon effects with different colors look really nice, but we already have a ton of moon effects and cloud effects, and so, I don't know, to me, it feels like they are beautiful on their own, but I can't see them really, unless they're super, super rare, I can't really see them becoming really, really high tier. So, and I don't think any of these are going to become the new Nebula effect, unless, like I said, there's just really, really, I don't know, at the end of the day, a lot of it just comes down to how many are unboxed, because even really ugly effects, I'll tell a quick story about Bonzo, the All-Nine. When that first came out, I remember people were like, this is ugly. Why would they do this? It's not unusual. It's not an effect. It's just weird, like, cartoony thing puking over your head. A lot of people either thought it was super cool or super lame. Most traders thought it was pretty lame. But what happened is, so few of them were unboxed, it instantly became more rare. It instantly became a collector's item, and people were going out of their way. And, you know, the price kind of slowly went up and up and up because there's just not that many, and if there's any demand at all, even if it's just from collectors, the price goes up pretty fast. So that could happen with any of these effects, but I'm just saying, I'm assuming that, you know, a healthy amount of them will be unboxed and they'll be in circulation like most other effects. But now we're moving on to the last three. We have the Head of Steam, Open Mind, and Brain Drain. So visually, these obviously look beautiful. They're very active. There's a lot going on. The colors are nice. That's one thing I give Valve props with this update, or, you know, the community creators, is the colors are very bright, which I always like. It's super cool. When I think about the lime stuff you can make now, the pink loadouts, it's, you know, it's like a whole new level. I do like that Open Mind is an orange because it's something different. We don't really have that many orange effects, so, you know, props for them to making a bright orange. But once again, it's like we have two old effects being thrown together. We have Bubbles again, and then we have like just Roboactive and Antifreeze, and they just made an orange version. So it's like, man, this could have been so much more cool, but it's, you know, it's still nice on their own. If you could stack them, that would be even better. If you combine this like with the Roboactive, Antifreeze, and maybe Open Mind, you get three completely different colors. That would be pretty cool, but to me, it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm jaded because I've been around for so long and I've seen a lot of new effects come out, but I don't know, these look nice, they're very active, all that, yada yada, but I just wish they had a little more uniqueness to them. It just feels like they said, here's bubblings, let's throw an old Roboactive effect, and then what else? Get some bones in there. It's like, what does that have to do with anything? And the names don't really seem to go with it either. I don't know about the names, it's kind of weird. Unfortunately, I don't think any of these jump out as me as like the next high tiers. Most of these, if a healthy amount of them are unboxed, are probably going to end up being like mid-ish tier, because Halloween effects usually do pretty well, because there's not that many unboxed, even though, you know, a lot of people unbox during this time. It's hard to unbox unusuals in general, so you only have about a month to get these guys. So there's usually not that many, which means the price is usually higher than average. But with all that said, if you know, a good amount of them are unboxed and they're in circulation, I can't see any of them being super high tier. Most people are probably going to be trading these to combine them with other effects that they like more. But as soon as I saw these effects, I'm like, these are all pretty cool on their own. They stand out. They're nice. They're unique. But unless I'm going to get one of these to combine with something, like I don't know, I probably wouldn't want to wear them on their own. So props for them. Like I said, the colors are very nice. The sheer amount of new unusuals we got, you know, was pretty awesome. They gave us like, 12 hat effects and like six or seven taunt effects, which is really nice. Unfortunately, a lot of them are just old effects with different color variations, but, you know, new unusuals are always great, no matter what. I just don't think that you're going to surpass the older Halloween effects. You think about like your Arcanas, your Demon Flames, the Triple Bats, stuff like that. I think those are still going to be number one. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me. As always, this has been my critique of the new unusual effects. I'm going to go jump in game. I hope to see you guys there. Feel free to shoot me a like, subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments about the new effects, and I gotta get it started on my next video. Until next time, see you guys. Peace.
Thanks, soldier. Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls shut your soul and seal your doom.